for ruining the drugs. These are dangerous criminals we're talking about here, you idiot. Maybe we should have hired a fish for the job. Those guys are smart. And you know why they're smart?
Stop.
Because they're always in schools. God, it's a tough crowd.
It's the same bad joke as before.
Yeah, it's still a good joke.
Still a bad joke.
I liked it.
Thank you, Ellen.
What do you want?
I'm looking for rough sex and Kinsey scares the shit out of me.
I stay on top and you don't get to talk.
Deal.
Saints Row might have started off as a GTA ripoff, but by the events of the fourth instalment in the series, plenty of other games found themselves in Saints Row's satirical crosshairs. As a cheeky parody of Mass Effect's Space Lothario Commander Shepard, the player character in Saints Row 4 is also seemingly irresistible to 99% of sentient life in the galaxy, including what I can only assume is the ship's Roomba.
Don't worry, I'm fully equipped to pleasure.
And with the Saints stuck on a spaceship for the majority of the game and facing almost certain death, they kill time in the exact same way as the crew of the Normandy, by knocking moon boots.
But seeing you now has made me realize how much I need you.
So if you ever fancied your chances with any of the cast of Saints Row, then the love scene of your dreams is only a button press away.
Hey Kinsey, you wanna
So much to unpack there. Unexpectedly for Saints Row, some of these romance options are actually quite touching, particularly the ones with characters from the early games. It must have taken every shred of the developer's restraint not to put a punchline on the end of this.
It always drove me crazy that you had exes in every city and were willing to go on a dating show, but not once did you ever give me a shot.
You never asked for one.
I'm asking now.
Then let's make up for lost time.
That's what she said! Sorry, I'm bad at talking feelings. And when it comes to seduction, none of the iconic Saints Row characters are off the table. Or the bed. Or the whatever.
Wanna add casual sex to that list?
I normally don't swing that way, so I'm down.
And all of that just a single dialogue option away. Take that, Mass Effect, with your multi-game character arcs and your meaningful relationships.
They're rushing you. Check out your mini-map.
Mike, you should do better.
Just have some patience.
That's how you play Destiny right there.
In many ways, water is the perfect drink. It's cheap, hydrating, and also you can see enemies attacking you through it.
Hey, Janie, that's not for you, I saw.
Nice try,
Burns.
Andy. The one critical deficiency of water, however, is how it doesn't come with any downloadable content. That's where energy drink Red Bull comes charging to the rescue, with its promotion that in 2015 gave Destiny DLC to people who submitted the code found on special Destiny Edition cans of the Gamer's Go-Go Juice. The upshot was you had to buy Red Bull in order to unlock a certain timed exclusive quest in the Destiny expansion, Destiny the Taken King, which you had already bought. So it's like DLC within DLC. And that is a worse deal than the Louisiana Purchase. What's that? I didn't write that. Andy, did you do...
Yeah, you see, the Louisiana Purchase was actually a historically bad deal for France. They sold around about 800,000 square miles of
Wait, no, that's
USA
history.
to America.
Stop trying to make me
60
learn
million
stuff.
points.
Then the makers of zombie parkour adventure Dying Light led the snarky satirical online response with a tongue-in-cheek promotion of their own. All you had to do was drink a quantity of sugar-free, low-fat water, then tweet at the makers of Dying Light with a photo of that. You would be rewarded for said consumption of H2O with Dying Light DLC, which you'll enjoy if you can stay awake long enough without the caffeine to which you've become so hopelessly addicted. Oh, speaking of which, can I get a coffee over here?
Not falling for that again.
Oh yeah.
Animal rights organisation PETA has a long history of creating video game parodies to raise awareness of their cause, from Mario Kills Tanuki, to Pokemon Black and Blue, to this version of Cooking Mama, in which Mama shouts animal cruelty facts while brandishing a knife. Yikes. Looks like Mama will fix you if you're not careful. One of the more popular offerings was Super Tofu Boy, a parody of indie darling platformer Super Meat Boy, which was pretty much exactly the same game, only with bad controls, repetitive music, and the fact that you played as a jumping block of bean curd. Super Meat Boy's developers didn't see the funny side, however, and clapped back with an Easter egg for the PC version of their game, where entering a code on the character select screen gave you the option to select Tofu Boy as a playable character. But you might want to think hard before you do, because Tofu Boy is bad. On account of what the game describes as a major iron deficiency, Super Tofu Boy can't run and can barely jump, which, in a game that requires you to run and jump a lot, is a considerable impediment. In fact, you might find yourself struggling to complete any of the game's levels with Tofu Boy, starting with the very first one, and you can forget about any of the harder ones. Ha! Take that, you dumb tofu.
You couldn't complete that level with Meat Boy, you know.
Yes, well, now I have an excuse.
Who's with me? Come on, everyone, follow me.
Postal 2 is a pretty funny game, if your idea of funny is going around urinating on everything.
Now the flowers will grow.
Postal 2 developer Running with Scissors takes perverse pride in being controversial, and no target is safe from its juvenile satire.
Next.
That doesn't count as satire.
Looks like the Chad is still hanging on that one, but I'm sure they'll count it.
Okay, that is somewhat satirical, if a little the 2000 presidential election. With such a scattergun approach to the targets of its humour, when Running with Scissors fell out with Postal 2 publisher Whiptail Interactive, they turned their powers of parody on that situation in their Postal 2 expansion pack, Apocalypse Weekend. In the game, Whiptail was rebranded Bullfish Entertainment, and their real-life CEO, Fred Heslop, became Fraud Hogslop, which, I mean, sick burn.
Hey, Vince sent me to pick up the Gold Master.
Gold what? Hey man, there's no Gold Master here. There's not a Gold Master within 100 miles. Vince is just crazy and insane. I never got any Gold Master, and I'm definitely not running off copies, eh? Who said I was running off copies? Some damn liar.
Your job in-game was to go and steal the finished version of the code from Postal 2 from his desk in an opulent office, while he attempted to deter you with his rocket launcher.
That stuff really hurt.
Wow, we are really working through some issues here, aren't we, Running with Scissors? You know, therapy is probably cheaper than full-blown video game development. Slightly cheaper. Putting your private disputes with your publisher into your video game for your audience to play isn't so much airing your dirty laundry as loading it all into a cannon and firing it into the sky. It's also more inside baseball than the rubber core inside an actual baseball.
You see that node beyond the village? Weren't a thing there for centuries. Till one day we awoke, bam! There were a tower atop it. Then all of a sudden lightning started pounding down. As if the Nalgo Fair itself was sailing in. Hasn't stopped to this day.
The Witcher video games differ from the books they're based on in a number of ways, from the relationship between Ciri and Yennefer, to the fact that author Andrzej Sapkowski never sent Geralt on an adventure that was a thinly veiled dig at overbearing digital rights management. You know, little things like that.
Your beard. Why did you decide to grow it out?
Don't really know.
Must say it suits you.
And Geralt hated facial hair in the books. The forums are going to hear about this. Anyway, in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, there's a quest called the Tower Outer Nowheres, in which Geralt battles the sinister forces of DRM. Only here, DRM stands for Defensive Regulatory Magicon, and is a magical defense system stopping a wizard from living in a tower that he bought pre-owned.
This tower was to be my new home. Bought it at an auction, you see.
Despite the wizard being the legal owner of the tower, this DRM is in place to make sure that only the original owner can access the castle's rooms, and so it's up to Geralt to defeat the DRM using something called Gottfried's Omni-Opening Grimoire.
We must deactivate the Defensive Regulatory Magicon. The tower's prior owner wrote a treatise about removing such defences. Gottfried's omni-opening grimoire.
The Grimoire is a magical book that, coincidentally I'm sure, happens to share its initials with GOG.com, a service that offers DRM-free access to games and is a wholly owned subsidiary of Witcher developer CD Projekt. Wherever you stand on the issue though, I think we can all agree this makes real-world DRM seem sane by comparison, because even the most draconian DRM doesn't make you fight a monstrous golem to access your video game. Also, after defeating the DRM, the tower disappears entirely and dumps Geralt in a river.
Not this way, the door.
So yeah, DRM is bad. Or possibly good as it keeps you out of the river? I don't know, it's the Middle Ages or something. Anyway, look forward to a quest in the next Witcher game where you have to fight a dragon called Loot Boxes or something.
You're alive, and in one piece. One soaking wet piece.
Thanks for watching this video about the shady in-joke Easter eggs that threw shade on all the other video games. And no shade from us, we're only going to support and promote our own videos, of course. Up here, outside Xbox, it's another video on Easter eggs that were kind of snarky about other video games. Yeah, you like that? And for something completely different, how about this from Outside Extra, in which Luke and Ellen, they've both gone to the movies. They've seen the Tomb Raider movie. Don't you want to know if it's any good? They're gonna tell you. Like a Starfleet cadet facing the Kobayashi Maru simulation, sometimes in a video game you find yourself in a no-win situation where the only outcome is a bad one. Unlike that cheater pumpkin eater James T. Kirk, however, you can't sneakily reprogram the game to give you a better ending. You've just got to play the game, make your choice, and live with the consequences no matter how bleak. Join us now as we ponder the games that had multiple endings, sure, but all of those endings were bad or sad or bad and sad. Now watch out for spoilers for these whole bunch of games.
Hey, Cap. Captain Walker.
What is it, Lugo?
Got a situation, sir.
Mission critical?
No, sir.
Then take it up the chain, Sergeant.
Roger that. Lieutenant Adams.
I hear you, Sergeant. What's your status?
Status is chafed, sir.
You say chafed, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. A local airborne insurgency has infiltrated the U.S. zone designated as my pants. Sir.
Shut up, jackass.
I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Yet I still probably like it more than Captain Martin Walker, protagonist of Spec Ops: The Line.
Take him out! Everyone move!
The game is inspired by the Joseph Conrad novel Heart of Darkness and takes place in a ruined Dubai that's been destroyed by sandstorms. There, Walker and his squad are trying to find John Conrad, a US Army colonel who, along with his unit, the Damned 33rd, had defied orders and declared martial law in the city.
To anyone who can hear me, I'm the commander of an American evacuation force. We're here to rescue you. But first, the 33rd will pay for what they've done.
Despite being a third-person cover-based shooter starring a Marine with a shaved head and a Nolan North voice though, Spec Ops: The Line is a lot more complex than it first appears. Before long, Walker is suffering from hallucinations, committing atrocities, and, well, committing more atrocities because of the hallucinations.
That's white phosphorus.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You've seen what this shit does. You know we
Might not have a choice, Lugo.
There's always a choice.
Sure, there's always a choice, and I choose to use white phosphorus. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, right, my war crimes. Anyway, when you finally catch up to Conrad, the whole reason you stayed in Dubai in the first place, it quickly becomes apparent that he's not really in a state to be rescued, or indeed do anything beyond possibly being used as a Halloween decoration.
It seems that reports of my survival have been greatly exaggerated.
The game actually has 4 different endings based on what you do next, and let's just say that none of them involve Walker and his pals going for ice cream sundaes. Firstly, you're given the option to shoot Conrad or to shoot yourself. As you might imagine, shooting yourself ends the game.
5!
On the other hand, shooting Conrad sets up 3 more potential gloomy endings. In one, you are killed by a patrol sent to pick you up, and in another, you go to town on them with an automatic shotgun, then stay in Dubai to rule it as some kind of mad shotgun king.
We heard shots. Is everything okay? Sergeant Roberts, what is going on?
Gentlemen, Welcome to Dubai.
The final ending, and the one the developers would probably consider the good ending, is the one in which Walker surrenders to the patrol, after which he's taken away to answer for his crimes with his psyche in tatters and the deaths of thousands of people on his conscience. That's your good ending, Spec Ops: The Line. And even Heart of Darkness had a better ending than that. I mean, once I wrote it in there, in Sharpie, seemed to lead into the heart of an immense darkness, and then they all went for ice cream sundaes. The end. See? Joseph Conrad knew how to end a story of madness and obsession.
Well, hello, friends and fans. It's beyond awesome to have you guys all back this year. First off, I gotta say, I am super excited to welcome all my pals back to the annual Blackwood Winter Getaway.
Until Dawn is an interactive horror movie in which young adults are menaced on a mountain by supernatural cannibal monsters.
Oh, you're not real!
Also, one of them is Mr. Robot, off of Mr. Robot.
That's not who he plays in that show.
What? I've got to admit, I have not seen the show. Does he at least play a robot?
No!
What?
I really want to spend some quality time with each and every one of you and just share some moments that we'll never forget.
In the tradition of horror movies, but with the added layer of interactivity and a decision tree more complicated than the song by Avril Lavigne, the menaced young adults will live or die according to how you play.
Ash. I'm sorry.
Chris, please.
The baddest possible ending, it may not surprise you to learn, is one in which all of the unlucky young people die horribly by various horrible means.
We have visual. The main structure is completely destroyed. Over. I'm seeing something. There is still no sign of any survivors.
Worst winter vacation ever. Yet Until Dawn's best ending, in which everyone survives and you get the trophy called They All Live, still manages to undercut its own ostensibly happy ending.
We have visual. The main structure is completely destroyed. Over. Hold on. I'm seeing something. It looks like there are survivors.
In this ending, the playable characters stay alive until the credits roll, but stick around and you'll learn that even though poor Josh Washington, played by Rami Malek, aka him off Mr. Robot, doesn't have his skull crushed by his monster sister...
Oh, you're not real! No, you're not! Ah!
Yeah, that. Even though not that, and even though Josh has survived, he's gotten stuck underground where he's lost his mind and become a gross cannibal monster himself, eating human heads and whatnot.
We have a visual on a survivor. One survivor remains. Is that? Stay back! Stay back! No, no! Stay back!
As a wise woman once sang, so much for my happy ending. A wise, wise woman.
This is my storm. I caused this. I caused all of this.
The branch of philosophy known as ethics has a thought experiment, a very famous one called the trolley problem. And it's not just when you're in the supermarket and your shopping cart has a wonky wheel. So there's a tram and it's going to run over and kill 5 people tied to the track ahead. Or you can pull a lever to divert the tram, but then it's going to run over 1 person tied to the other track. The main philosophical question is 1, who the heck is tying up all these poor people? And 2, which is the more ethical choice? Time-travelling teen drama Life is Strange complexifies the problem further still by substituting the 5 tied-up people with the population of a small Oregonian town, and the 1 tied-up person with the girl you probably love most in the whole world.
There's so many more people in Arcadia Bay who should live. Way more than me. Don't say that. I won't trade you. You're not trading me. Maybe you've just been delaying my real destiny.
Life is strange. Life is sucky, more like. Your ultimate choice between sacrificing Arcadia Bay to a supernatural storm or letting Chloe Price get killed in a bathroom gives rise to 2 possible endings, neither of which is the upbeat feel-good finale it sounds like. Obviously, there are good philosophical arguments on both sides, but whatever your personal moral philosophy, we can all agree, screw Arcadia Bay, save Chloe.
Get that gun away from me, psycho!
Ah, I see you're from classical utilitarianism school of thought. You number crunching morality robot.
Lord Vader, deal with the boy.
In Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Darth Vader's secret apprentice Starkiller has a lot of difficult decisions to make, such as how many times to spin a struggling stormtrooper before flinging them off into space, or what colour lightsaber to impale a stormtrooper with, or how many times to catch a falling stormtrooper before finally letting them fall to their death. To be honest, they're mostly about awesome ways to kill stormtroopers. By the end of the game, after Starkiller has come around to the Rebellion's way of thinking, the leaders of this fledgling movement find themselves at the mercy of Emperor Palpatine, who has an attractive offer for them.
He will be interrogated, tortured. You will give me the names of your friends and allies. And then you will die.
Cool. Cool. Sounds cool, Palpy. Just give me a few minutes to think about it, yeah? Luckily, Starkiller shows up to save the day, wrecks up Darth Vader, and then is offered a choice. Choose the way of the light side and attack the Emperor, or choose the way of the dark side and join the Emperor, who, it must be pointed out, is currently electrocuting a kindly old man and laughing about it.
Help him!
Surprise! Choosing the dark side means you get a bad ending, in which the Emperor throws a spaceship at Starkiller and he dies like an idiot. Choose the light side, however, and Starkiller gets exploded by Force lightning and dies like an idiot.
He is dead. Then he is now more powerful than ever.
Is he, though, Palpatine? Seems pretty unpowerful to me. Hey, Starkiller, you suck. See? True, in this ending, Starkiller's sacrifice makes him a martyr for the Rebel Alliance, and they adopt his symbol as their own, but that doesn't help old Starkiller, does it? What with him being dead and all. In fact, none of the rebels seem to remember him at all further down the line. It's the bloody First Order who go around naming bases after him. Look, all I'm saying is a little gratitude wouldn't go amiss. Talking to you, Poe Dameron.
Hey! Can you get me on the rooftop of that mall?
You gotta be kidding me.
It's a truth universally acknowledged that no piece of zombie fiction ever has a happy ending, so we weren't holding out much hope for any of Dead Rising's 6 possible finales. But it's equally true that in video games, doing everything you're told to do in your objectives list nets you the best ending, right? Them's the rules. That's why in Dead Rising we dutifully solved all the cases, talked to Isabella at 10 AM, and then got Frank to the heliport in time for a ride out of there and presumably a 100G achievement called Mike, You Are the Best. I will accept a 50G achievement called Mike, You Are Great. I'm a pretty magnanimous guy. But instead of a triumphant return to civilization and a Pulitzer Prize for photography, Frank's helicopter pilot buddy Ed gets bitten by a zombie and crashes, and Frank gets himself infected with the zombie virus. You then have to fight your way through overtime mode, and Frank finishes the game screaming at the sky while surrounded by an overwhelming crowd of the undead. That's right, Frank, let it all out. I didn't get my achievement either, so we're both having a bad day. Believe it or not, that's the canonical true ending of Dead Rising, even though it's more of a downer than an all Radiohead mixtape. The rest of them are variations on Frank failing to escape, Ed getting bitten by zombies, and in one particularly grim turn of events, the entire mall exploding. Even ending B, the least immediately horrifying ending, in which you escape on a helicopter with a group of survivors, has a sucker punch lying in wait.
Hey, Fred! I told you I'd come back for you!
Just as you're busy high-fiving yourself, it's revealed that although you've escaped, zombie outbreaks occur in cities across America, presumably killing hundreds of thousands of people. You know, normally when you kill that many people in a video game, you get some kind of achievement.
Bye.
Oh, all right, fine.
It begins.
If you're looking for a game with a broad spectrum of downer endings, because I don't know, you hate happiness? Look no further than Drakengard, you weirdo. This PS2 fantasy role-playing game comes correct with not one, not two, but 5 possible endings, each of which is more surreal than Salvador Dali's stress dreams after a 5-course cheese dinner the night before his important algebra exam.
Will you forgive me now, Mana?
The endings are hugely diverse, united only by their surrealism and the shared themes of what we like to call the 3 Ds of Drakengard. That's death, disaster, and the degree to which the human race is doomed. Oh wait, that's 4. The 4 Ds of Drakengard. Never mind, the point is Drakengard is an epic saga in which the principal characters battle to save humanity from annihilation by the otherworldly malevolent beings known as the Watchers. And at the end of this epic saga, depending on which ending you achieve, you will be rewarded with either a whole bunch of dragons out to destroy humanity, also your dragon friend is dead, or a whole bunch of angel monsters out to destroy humanity, also your sister is dead, or a whole bunch of whatever in the name of Sweet Boss Baby is going on here.
Let us become one, my beautiful children.
That is some dead-ass Attack on Titan nightmare fuel. Right there is what that is.
It's the end, the end!
And yet you do not pray.
To whom? What gods can help us now?
That's to say nothing of the truly left-field downer ending in which Kaim and his dragon-packed pal Angelus are warped through a dimensional portal into modern, actual, real-world Tokyo.
Is this the land of the gods?
Where they defeat the Queen Beast, but also a little bit set in motion what will be an eventual cataclysm in our modern, actual, real world. Also, they get blown up by fighter jets.
It is done.
When the only ending that even approaches a good ending involves a tiny child begging to be killed.
Kill me! Kill me! If you don't, I'll do something!
And then your dragon friend sacrifices itself while you cry.
You are the first and the last of your kind to know my name.
Then we're confident when we say that Drakengard just doesn't do happily ever after, because, like, that's for Disney, and also Max and Chloe in my correct version of Life is Strange. Don't at me.
Come on, Carl. They'll solve the deficit crisis before you find it.
The 11th Hour is an excellent game for people who enjoy doing puzzles while a jerk is sarcastic to them.
3 across Panda? Oh, looks like someone found this clue too much to bear.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. In the game, you play as Carl Denning, an investigative reporter whose girlfriend goes missing in a spooky old mansion. You set off to rescue her, a process which involves doing a ton of sliding block puzzles and solving weird riddles until you finally confront the owner of the house, Henry Stauff, who is hosting a game show in the attic despite having been dead for over 50 years.
I wonder what I've got in my pocket. Count $600.
That's when you're given the game's final choice. There are 3 women to choose from. Robin, the girlfriend you came to the mansion to rescue, Samantha, the mysterious woman who's been helping you out and feeding you clues along the way, or Marie, who is evil but only wearing a bra. You can see the dilemma here.
Let's see what's behind door number 1 here.
Door number 1! It's sweet, Marie.
Obviously choosing Marie gives you a bad ending, although I don't think anyone was prepared for her to turn into Stauff mid-sex and then chow down on Carl's ribs, because what?
Sure you wouldn't like a bite?
After all.
It's you!
Choosing Samantha, on the other hand, means that you escape the house, but it then burns down with Robin inside, and she dies. So logic dictates that the best ending is going to be the one where we pick Robin, the whole reason we came here in the first place, right? Guess again. In this ending, Carl is found dead in a river a few weeks later.
The body of TV reporter Carl Denning was found floating in the Hudson River today.
What's the message here, 11th Hour? Because I'm having a real hard time puzzling it out.
Stuck, are we? If only you had the brains to...
Yeah, all right, we're done here.
Wait. You're leaving? We're flying to Havana tonight. It's already begun. Mute will take it from here. Your family will be here in an hour.
As far as parenting role models go, Kane from Kane and Lynch Dead Men is somewhere near the bottom, right next to the McAllisters from Home Alone and the McAllisters from Home Alone 2. Two separate occasions, you guys. Kane's involvement with the criminal underworld is the reason his wife gets executed by mobsters right in front of their daughter Jenny.
No, wait! Let me talk to them!
And then later in the game, again because of Kane's life of crime, Jenny gets kidnapped and taken to the Venezuelan jungle, which is just lousy with guerrilla warfare at this time of year. In more proof of parental failure, when you finally catch up with her, it turns out that Jenny has quite the potty mouth.
Baby, let me hold you.
Get the away from me, you murderer!
Yet another reason why you should probably hand in your world's greatest dad mode, Kane. Rescue Jenny and you're presented with two options for an ending, neither of which involves cake and party poppers. One option is to head back into the fray with Jenny in an attempt to rescue your comrades, Shelley and Riffic, and escape by boat. The other is to dishonorably ditch your pals and steal a helicopter with Jenny.
I could get her out now. I don't owe them shit. They all knew the risks. I'd have to let them burn. Not in front of her.
Kane, what's it gonna be?
Attempt to rescue your men and you're signing up for yet more shooting as you advance towards the church where they're holed up. When you finally get there though, Riffic is already dead.
Don't shoot! It's me. Kane? Where the have you been?
Huh, I guess it wasn't short for terrific after all. Ooh, unless it was terrifically full of bullets. Worse still, as you leave, Shelley appears to be exploded, Jenny will be shot, and Kane finishes the game cradling his dead or dying daughter in the boat, as Lynch does his very best to offer words of sympathy.
She'll be okay, Lynch? You got her out. I know she's gonna be okay.
Fuck you, Kane.
Choose the other ending though, where Kane escapes in the helicopter and Jenny will definitely survive, but she'll be so disgusted by her dad's cowardice and betrayal of his comrades that she'll probably never speak to him again.
I hate you. You're exactly like they said you are. A traitor.
Teenagers, eh, Kane? I'm just kidding. You're a terrible father.
There you go, those were the games that had multiple endings, sure, but all of those endings were bad, or sad, bad and sad, miserable, just why did you even bother? This was a real downer, and now I'm depressed. So I think the only thing to do is go and cheer myself up with this video from Outside Xbox, which is about the weird-ass left-field endings that made us go, wait, what? At the end of a game? Which is better than miserable, right? And then this one from Outside Extra, which is about the heartbreaks in video games that we still haven't gotten over, but somehow, like Heroes, we will talk to you about them because you got to talk about something. Hello,
Arr.
welcome, fellow pirates.
Yarr.
Do you know what day is today, Andy?
It's Grog Day.
It's Grog Day.
Yeah.
What happens on Grog Day?
We make grog.
Yeah.
And we receive our ration of it from the cruel Admiralty.
Our meagre rations.
Yeah, I've been saving it up all week to get
the
blasted.
Admiralty has sent us this recipe card.
The Admiralty in this case being the video game Sea of Thieves.
Yes. So Sea of Thieves sent us a recipe card, and it's to make grog.
Yeah.
We're going to make an alcoholic version for you if you are of legal drinking age in your region.
But don't worry if you're teetotal or not of legal drinking age, because we're going to make a non-alcoholic version of it that you can enjoy as well.
Yeah.
So everyone can enjoy the delicious taste of notoriously bad drink grog.
Yeah, that's the thing. Grog is not supposed to be a delicious cocktail.
Yeah. Well, as you know, Jane.
Yeah, don't
in
tell
history,
me, Andy. I know. Tell them.
Admiral Edward Vernon, he introduced a rum ration for his sailors.
Okay,
and he used to wear
keep them quiet?
to keep them, well,
happy.
For many reasons. But he used to wear a coat of grogram cloth. They used to call him Old Grog.
Old Groggy.
And they were like, oh, here comes the grog.
McGrogerson.
So, so that's a fun
Do you want to know what goes in this version?
Or do you want to know more about Admiral Edward Vernon?
No! Why don't we start making it and then you can feed in some actual historical facts?
Okay, fine.
So we're going to make the boozy version,
Yeah.
and then we're going to make the virgin grog,
Yeah.
the non-alcoholic version.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. All right. So, how do we start?
We start with prep time, 2 minutes. Do you have 2 minutes to spare?
No. Right. Video's over. I'm done.
Mix time 2 minutes.
What do you
Total
think,
time
Bonesy?
4 minutes. They've done the maths for you. Ingredients for 1 serving.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to make 1 serving?
Yep.
What drinkware have you brought with
I've
you
bought
here
the cocktail shaker.
Classic pirate
Yeah.
equipment.
And I bought 2 different kinds of. I've got a monkey tiki cup here.
From Andy's personal
From
collection
my personal
of
collection,
monkey tiki
and
cups.
also a commemorative Pirates of the Caribbean tankard.
Oh, like actual pirates would use.
Yeah, from the Disneyland ride.
Well, here are the ingredients. 1 ounce of lime juice.
Okay.
We've got those. 1 ounce of brown sugar.
Okay.
We've got that
Sure.
here. 1 ounce of dark rum.
Dark
We've got
rum.
that here. Other brands,
Other brands
are
of rum
available.
are available.
4 ounces of water. Do we have water?
Oh yeah, we need some water.
No water.
Go out and fetch me 4 ounces of water.
Yes, cabin boys and girls, fetch us water. I can't believe we didn't have water.
The easiest thing to have.
There's
Although
water
at sea, of course.
I mean,
Jane.
there's
What we're
seawater
doing here
everywhere.
is we are recreating how difficult it would have been for sailors of that period to get their hands on fresh water.
They had their limes and
Yeah.
their cocktail umbrellas.
and
no
their ginger
water
beer,
anywhere.
but of course no water.
Okay.
Now, of course, they used to store barrels of fresh water on board
Okay,
ships, but
right.
after, I mean, in not very long at all,
Yeah.
they would soon have algae in them and it
Oh.
would become a bit unpleasant. So they used to sweeten
Should've
the
washed
water
their barrels.
with things like rum or brandy, or whatever they had to hand. And
It's
so
got
that's
rum in
another.
it. You don't care how much algae there's going on in
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You're like, algae, but rum.
I feel like I'm getting dysentery, but
Yeah,
the rum is good.
but rum,
Yeah.
yeah.
But also, I put it to
But
you,
also-
rum.
Rum.
This is what pirates would drink.
Yeah.
Fresh from the
Fresh-
Highland Springs.
Yeah, the Highlands of
The Highlands
the
of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Highlands of the Caribbean. This is good. 1 ounce of lime juice.
No, we're going to make a double drink.
Okay,
Because
so
it's
2 ounces.
been that kind of a day, and Pirate Jane needs a double measure of grog.
2 ounces of lime juice.
No,
Right.
we're going to use instructions. Pirates famously
Oh,
always follow the
Sorry.
instructions,
Oh,
Andy.
gosh, okay. Let's all follow the rules.
done this every day on board.
They're all sat out on the deck. Imagine this is all rolling.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
hang
hang
on.
on. I've got the.
Okay,
How much is
add-
an ounce?
No, add the brown sugar
Right.
to your shaker.
Yes.
You got a shaker?
Got a shaker.
Add your brown sugar. I need 2 ounces of
Using
brown
a
sugar.
Skull spoon.
Um,
here.
An ounce is like. It's like 30 grams.
I'll just eyeball it.
30 grams ish. Splash of warm water
Okay.
to dissolve the sugar, and then
Yeah.
add your 2 ounces of lime juice.
Right.
So I reckon that's a good strong squeeze of these limes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna squeeze these. No scurvy
Cover
for
your
us.
eyes. Citric acid everywhere.
Do you know there's the reason that pirates used to wear eye patches
Right.
is because,
Yes.
contrary to
They had
popular
only
opinion,
one eye each.
no, much like Cyclops from the X-Men, they were able to fire concussive blasts of energy out of their eyes.
Oh wow.
So they used to keep them in place, otherwise they would have lasered the ship in half.
Okay, that's
Very,
on to the Marie Celeste.
yeah.
It got lasered.
That's what when they found the Queen Anne's Revenge, they pulled it up and it was
Laser
just
holes in the
laser
side.
holes, and they were like, yeah, classic lasering.
2 ounces of lime.
2 ounces of lime.
Get it in there.
Let's get it in there.
Okay. Instruction 2. Put in rum.
All right, how much rum?
It is going to be 2 ounces of dark rum, the darkest, as dark as
Dark as
dark
a
heart on a
kraken's
dark
stomach
night.
that
as a-
swallowed your ship.
As as dark as the insides of a kraken.
And now you're sad because your ship is all in a kraken.
Okay. Stick it in the shaker.
There we go.
And the rest of the water, which is 4 ounces of water, so 8 ounces for a double
For
helping.
a double helping.
All right,
of
let's do
sweet
8 ounces
grog.
of grog. Shake it up.
Oh yeah, it smells great.
Shake it up. Smells very limey, very fresh.
Should we add some cinnamon?
Oh.
Because
What?
well,
You're
okay,
going
let's make
off
it
work.
without cinnamon, and then see if cinnamon improves it.
Can you just add dry cinnamon to a cocktail? Because it doesn't dissolve, right? Do you do like put it on top to finish it?
Yeah,
or
just to
something?
finish it.
Okay.
Right, I'm
Or do
shaking.
a cinnamon rim on the glass. Okay. Bit of flair, pirate flair.
Whoa! I hold here
Clean
in my
hands, chef. Clean hands.
in my mortal hand
Yeah.
pure grog.
Yeah.
Let's pour it in.
You never got around to telling me what actual grog was. Was it just rum and
Just
gross
rum and-
water?
rum and gross
Disgusting
water, yeah.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Do you want to finish it with a little cinnamon? And what's the most piratey umbrella colour, Luke?
Red.
Red, yeah.
Okay, red for the blood of
blood of
my
our
enemies.
enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Video games.
Yeah, people often didn't know that
Yeah.
pirates put little umbrellas in all
For
their
good
drinks.
luck, yeah.
Yeah, they believed that the god of the sea,
Poseidon.
Jethro.
Jethro Poseidon.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Was he? Yeah, Jethro Poseidon. You
Yeah.
don't often hear his full name.
Do you want cinnamon?
Yeah.
Just a little taste.
Just a whisper. Just a trace on the sea breeze. From the Spice Islands of Schwartz.
Yeah, we've come laden with rare spices such as cinnamon.
Yeah.
And just a little dusting.
Just a whisper.
Okay, I'm going for it.
All right, go for it. Is it good?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's actually not bad.
It's not.
Have a go.
It's actually not bad.
Actually not bad. That's probably the least offensive thing
All
I've
right.
drunk on this cocktail show.
Okay, this cocktail show. I'm gonna stir in the whisper of cinnamon a little bit because, like I predicted, cinnamon doesn't dissolve, so I don't know how you put it in a cocktail exactly.
Yeah,
There
you
we
just
go.
sprinkle it on the top.
Okay, fine.
And enjoy it.
It looks like the algae that would have grown in the grog barrel.
Yeah. So you too can experience not having fresh drinking water.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of water in it, so it's actually like a slightly boozy lime cordial.
Yeah.
With kind of spices. It's got cinnamon.
Let's
and
bring the
crab shells.
bring our
Okay,
taste testers
taste
in
testers.
to see what you
Taste
think.
victims.
All right, Seaman Westaway, here's your grog ration for the day. Drink
Wow.
it.
What a
and
treat.
tell me what you think.
Okay.
He's drinking it. I can't believe he's drinking
Drinking
it.
it, the idiot.
What do you think?
The ocean is calling.
Yes.
Wow. And hang on,
Yeah.
my scurvy's all cleared up.
That'll be the lime juice.
It's a
Working its
miracle.
Look,
All that
my teeth.
vitamin C.
My teeth are so firmly bedded in my gums. It's amazing.
Look. Not.
Ah.
They're not coming out.
In my mind, I heard a click then, and it's like Luke was going to extract the tooth, and I could just imagine it.
This is how he discovered he had scurvy. Oh wow, that was really loose.
I
I wondered why I've been so weak.
Wondered why all those old wounds were open. Can I have another sip before I pass it
Yes,
Yes.
you may.
Yes,
This is the
you
first time you've
certainly
ever
may.
asked for another
Yeah.
sip, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Delicious.
the first time you've made a good drink.
A palatable drink. All right.
Right, Ellen.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's so much water in it. I've never made a cocktail with that much Highland water in it.
And to think we've been using expensive ingredients when some
Mixers.
ordinary water in our tap.
Just water, ordinary
The
water.
Perfect mixer.
Good. All right. Well, let's make a non-alcoholic version
Okay,
of this.
you can take this and drink.
Okay.
Yeah. A souvenir for our cabin boy and girl. And we're back.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Jane and Andy cocktail hour. Half
That's right.
hour, 20 minutes.
I'd say we'll go for
We're
that.
going to run along.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Attendance is
I've got a
mandatory.
thing later.
No,
I'm gonna have
well,
to
too
run.
bad. Should have thought that before you turned up at the Jane and
Well,
Andy cocktail hour.
last
2
time,
hours. The Jane and Andy cocktail
previously,
2 hours.
On the Jane and Andy cocktail double hour.
4 hours.
4 hour. The quad hour.
Yeah.
We made alcoholic, historically accurate, authentic pirate
Yep.
grog.
That Luke is still
that
chugging
Luke is
down in the corner.
quietly packing away in the corner.
Quietly though.
But
yes.
not everyone likes to drink alcohol.
Not everyone's old enough to drink alcohol.
And not
as
everyone
well.
chooses to drink alcohol.
So we don't want you guys to be left out, so we're going to make a delicious virgin grog.
non-alcoholic.
We're going to substitute ginger beer.
Andy's done the research. He says this is the ideal substitute.
Yeah.
It's a spicy,
yeah.
fiery ginger beer. Other
Real-
brands are available.
Real taste of the
But this one
West
looks
Indies.
pretty piratey. It's got palm trees and stuff on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So,
So
who are we to argue?
we're just going to replicate
Okay,
the recipe.
the
So it's
recipe, but
4
with ginger beer in place of
of rum.
booze.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Now I need you to put 2 ounces of lime juice.
Well, it's just a whole lime, isn't it?
It's just a
basically?
whole lime,
Yeah.
more or less. Eyeball it. Pirates
Yeah.
would. Do you think they were measuring things? No, they were doing piracy.
They're out there with the punk rockers of the sea.
They care not for your standard measures.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
The
put in an
EU.
ounce, and they're like, oh, an ounce, and then they'd stab you and rob you.
Yeah.
That's pirates are
Probably don't
terrible.
ask them for a drink.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
say. I quartered and then quartered again these limes.
Yeah,
so
it's really made this a lot
it's
more
made,
difficult.
made your life a lot harder this
Yeah.
time, Andy. I thought you needed the challenge.
Oh, I've got such limey fingers now.
Mm.
Ah.
No scurvy there. You're going to have a contact high from all the lime.
Yeah.
No scurvy in those hands. What stage are we at now, Andy?
Okay, we're adding the ginger beer now.
The ginger beer, which is our rum proxy.
Rum substitute.
Yeah, rum substitute.
I'm going to open this up, and we're going to add how much of it?
It is going to be 2 ounces.
2 ounces. We can add a
About
little
60
more.
millilitres. A double shot of ginger beer.
Yeah.
The other thing about grog is that it was an acronym.
For what?
Oh no, I wish you had no follow-up questions. It was great rum or
grog.
yeah, that was it.
Uh,
Yeah.
And some water.
Okay, it's a recursive acronym. How many? 8 ounces.
Not as much as that.
Okay.
I reckon that much.
5 ounces.
That's fine.
5 ounces. We're going a little less on the water because ginger beer is mostly water.
Yeah, exactly.
For that fact, Andy, you're mostly
There we
water.
go.
So why add any at all?
I'm mostly grog currently. If you want to, I'm not going to shake this because I've learned. See, I'm learning all the time. I learned not to shake carbonated beverages in a cocktail
So
shaker.
he's perfecting his craft. Do you know how they had ice at sea?
They sailed to the North Pole
Yeah,
and cut
they
it out.
chipped off an iceberg and
They
dragged it behind the ship.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
smart.
like a tugboat
Yeah.
deal. And
And
then
then
they just hacked off bits
hacked
of
off
iceberg.
Whatever they needed.
They were
so
very
like us.
resourceful. Very resourceful
So
people.
like us, these
Mhm.
pirates.
Did you know that the grog ration was discontinued in 1970?
Oh, I bet they weren't happy about that
Yeah.
in
It's insanely
1970.
recent.
But they all had disco then, so it's a trade-off.
We're replacing your grog ration with disco. You get 2 pints of disco.
How is it, Andy?
Well, you have a sip, and then
Okay.
we're going to
All
watch
right.
what Jane's face does when she drinks from this commemorative Pirates of the
Okay,
Caribbean
can I get an ice cream float on this?
mug. No.
That's the toughest accessory of all. Oh, now that is delightful.
Yeah. What
That
a delicious
it's
virgin
gingery,
grog.
it's fiery, it's got lime. I love lime, and it's got loads of sugar, and I
Yeah.
love that.
Man, I kind of want more. That was good.
That is so delightful. It is totally tropical.
Oh my god. Man, I'm ready to attack some sloops.
Let's sign up.
Guys, come in and test this
Guys, come and test
non-alcoholic
this
grog.
Okay.
delightful drink. What are you
Yeah.
getting? Are you getting ginger? Are you getting
You're
lime?
getting the
Because
desire.
that's in it.
I'm massively getting ginger.
You're getting the desire to rob ships,
Yeah.
plunder their booty.
That's delicious.
Yeah, right. So refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, icy, cold.
I think that's nicer.
Aw.
The ginger is really working for me.
Yeah.
What if we were to pour the two together?
Oh my god. Dare we?
Dare we?
Dare we
Yeah.
create the ultimate drink?
It's like a pirate mojito.
I think a mojito is a pirate mojito.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pirates
probably.
love mojitos.
Yeah. Tasty? Delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Often you could
She's
hear
so refreshed right now.
Blackbeard's typical cry of mojitos on deck, lads.
Arr, a martini. It's so easy.
Wow.
Pirate puns are so easy.
Easy.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what a couple of
Andy and James.
unqualified
I
successes.
can't believe that was 4 hours. We
These
just
cocktails.
must have.
If it probably feels to you like it's just flown by.
Yeah.
Feels like it's not even 4 hours, but
I
it's
know.
definitely been 4 hours.
Yeah, that's
you
the
should probably eat
craftsmanship
and wash
involved.
and go to sleep
Well
because
done, you guys, on creating a genuinely delicious drink.
At last,
Yeah,
we knew if we
finally,
kept mixing
if we
things
kept at it.
together, sooner or later it wouldn't kill anyone and be delicious.
yeah. So thanks to Sea of Thieves for sending us this grog recipe
Mhm.
because that was really nice. So thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, come on back next time for more delicious mixology. Cheers. Let's go and raise some chips. Game developers are constantly patting themselves on the back about how intelligent their AI enemies are. Every time a new game comes out, it's all about how your foes will be the smartest, most sophisticated enemy in the history of video games. But frankly, that line of thinking is how we ended up with A, Alien Isolation, and B, permanently elevated blood pressure.
Oh my god. Oh, it's gonna see me.
For the sake of our poor circulatory system, sometimes it's a relief when the AI is just a little bit artificially unintelligent. You know, just to give us a break. Here are the times you were grateful for dumb AI. And no spoilers this time unless you're fascinated by the rich internal life of enemy grunt number 431.
Okay. The old market. Ought to be this way.
Cover is so important in video games that it has its own subgenre, the cover shooter. It's just like a regular shooter, only it's full of waist-high walls. It doesn't take a genius to work out that you're far less likely to be Swiss cheesed with the enemy's bullets if you hide behind this cover and only occasionally pop out to shoot people. Credit where it's due, your enemies tend to have worked that much out at least. What they haven't realised is that you shouldn't pop up in exactly the same place every time at regular intervals, because that hands something of a tactical advantage to the player. What is this, a spaghetti western? No, you guys carry on, you're fine. What's most ridiculous is that even by moving just a foot to the left or the right behind the cover, they wouldn't be putting their precious heads directly under your waiting crosshairs. Someone should probably tell them. Who's their line manager? Is it this guy? Oh, and wait until these guys hear about blind firing from cover, which is going to blow their minds. Only it won't, because they won't be being shot in the head. You know what I mean?
For the longest time, AI drivers in racing games were more obviously robotic than a robot doing the robot. After peeling away from the grid, the AI drivers would all politely line up on the racing line and snake their way around, waiting for you to intervene with your chaotic, organic human driving skills. Take that, Skynet. All that changed when Race Driver Grid arrived, promising not just action-packed racing, but realistic human errors that would make the AI feel far more lifelike than in any racing game before it.
Someone spun out. That's Nick Minasian.
And every so often it would actually work, with you applying psychological pressure while chasing the car in front, causing them to balls it up in a totally convincing manner. The rest of the time it just looked like they were terrible drivers, or that they'd suddenly dropped their ham sandwich into the passenger footwell and crashed while trying to retrieve it. Hey, the 5-second rule still applies inside a racing car. Grid's AI drivers will often just forget to turn corners and plough into the barriers, or spin like they just yanked the handbrake instead of the gear stick, even when they're not in the middle of a battle with another car. All this works to your advantage as you sail past and try not to crash because you're laughing so hard. Stupid AI drivers. Driving is easy, which is why I, a human, hereby resign to become a professional racing driver. Forgot my ham sandwich.
When you're a video game goon guarding a secure facility, you better hope you don't get stuck with what we call pit patrol. This is where it's your turn to stand guard near a cliff's edge, high rooftop, or a pit that, for all intents and purposes, is bottomless. Which is tantamount to a death sentence for these poor suckers, because they're always wandering inches from the precipice, with nary a safety rail to catch them in case of slips, trips, or hitmans dangling over the side, waiting to drag them to their death. You'd think they'd keep a safe distance from a ledge that precarious, but then you'd also think they'd take the occasional peek over the edge out of sheer boredom, if nothing else. What's down there? Maybe it's presents. It's never presents.
Rainbow Six Siege is what we in the biz call a tactical shooter, because you're supposed to employ tactics before you shoot things, which I don't know how that would work, because are you supposed to throw them on the floor and your enemies trip up on them, or?
Those are tic-tacs!
Which would explain where I've been going wrong. Lucky for you, the bad guys don't fully understand tactics either. Although if we had a better understanding of the motivations of the shadowy terrorist organisation White Mask, we'd know if self-sabotage is a vital part of their credo.
They are the very definition of an unknown quantity.
I mean, not that unknown a quantity, given that they have a habit of loudly announcing what they're going to do just before they do it. Like in so many military shooters, the enemies in Rainbow Six Siege's terrorist hunt mode will shout to let you know when they are reloading, which is the exact moment they are vulnerable to you rushing out and serving up a lead sandwich with a side order of death. Ooh, and some rosemary fries. Sorry, I haven't had lunch. Anyway, shouting that you're reloading is like me ringing the doorbell to tell you that I'm about to come in and burgle your house. In general, the White Mask foot soldiers make a ton of noise, especially when you whittle them down to the final 3 and they practically queue up for the privilege of being shot by you.
Op 4 eliminated.
You've only got yourself to blame, chatty Cathy.